Mr Bowen put a video out temporarily last week with a lot of incorrect facts in there, but and I think Ms Cook, you drew attention to the regulatory framework. But we do have a nuclear facility in this country, ANSTO, and his claims that they can't handle their waste, I'm not sure where he's getting that information from, apart from the fact he refers to the wrong type of waste, rods and versus plates. But he also claims there's no workforce. Are any of these claims even remotely true?
I think the claims are disturbing. For instance, the last snippet of that, I don't know what to call it, but I think the last slip was of a yellow drum with a nuclear symbol on it. Mm. ANSTO does not use yellow drums with symbols on it, so it cannot have been ANSTO waste. In fact, the yellow drum with the nuclear symbol on it is a Greenpeace meme, which is used to make people frightened of nuclear energy.
You might have got it from The Simpsons opening credits.
Absolutely. So I think I was gravely concerned by that, having been the CEO of ANSTO and briefly having him as my minister for a month and a half.
My condolence.
It was a deep, deep worry, not just about the fact that it maligns the very, very carefully trained and very committed workforce at ANSTO. Mm-hmm. But people don't know that the IAEA is an independent organisation separate to the United Nations organisation in New York. It has a global identity, which is very important. There are 3,300 employees of the IAEA. I would imagine, as we are sitting here today, that a very large majority of the employees of the IAEA would have seen that clip. It would have been circulated. It might have raised concerns with some people that it would be an accurate representation by a Minister of State of the situation that he analyses to be true in his country. Mm. I think it is deeply embarrassing. I think it should be withdrawn because it has been reposted. And I think it should be very, very careful reflection should be given on it as to the deep damage that type of gamesmanship, which is maybe funny in very small circles in the Australian political setting, but it's not funny for us as a nation, and it's not funny for us standing in the world.
It's very university politics, juvenile activity.
And do you think that's... It's got global implications.
Well, I know, because it's embarrassing as a country, and this is the... well, I mean, do you think it's possible? I have a lot of questions here, but I mean, just to surmise this, I mean, that is embarrassing, that video, and the fact that this person is a minister responsible in this area, yet doesn't seem to have basic ability to tell the truth when it comes to this area. Do you think this almost hyperbole and fictional fantasist scare campaign is just further proof that those that are trying to maintain, and I feel sorry for Senator Grogan and Senator Payman, who are going to be asked to defend the ban on behalf of Minister Bowen, that these ban and prohibitions, that this ridiculous opposition to lifting it, this need to keep it in place, is based on an outdated ideology and is in fact embarrassing Australia as a nation, let alone putting our sovereignty at risk.
I started my remarks by referring to grams of carbon per kilowatt hour produced. The job of the Minister and all of us in this room, to be frank, is to think about that number and how quickly we can reduce it. Anything that distracts from that, in my mind, takes us away from an important shared goal, what I would call a tripartisan goal. Whichever of the three sides of politics you occupy, you can find a space for nuclear in Australia if you are prepared to take a rational, reasoned and careful look using the milestones approach that Helen Cook has referred to.
Well, if it was about decarbonisation, the answer's obvious from the numbers you just gave us.
I believe it's absolutely obvious, but I also believe it's important, I think as Professor Wilson has indicated, to take the genuine public interest and not the short-term political interest. This is a 100-year challenge. It's not a kind of let's make something up over the weekend. And I really do believe that when we come back to the engineering and scientific facts, and we decide as a nation not to keep bans that come out of an emotional era which we have left behind, hopefully have left behind, we can then do a reasoned engineering and science-based assessment. I don't know how this Parliament, that has got any Democrats in it, and I'm not thinking in terms of a party called the Democrats, but a Democrat in it, could possibly entertain a nuclear ban in this year. I think it should be...
Not all of us do.
I think it should be... the ban should be lifted, and quickly.
Thank you.